I'm Micki.
I'm Kat.
And we're Cat and Mouse Astrology. Welcome to the full moon eclipse of November 19th, 2021. Woo-woo. It feels powerful, this eclipse. Yeah. It's partial, a partial eclipse in Taurus, the bull. And an eclipse is just a full moon on steroids. That's what everybody calls it. It's powerful full moon. It lasts longer. An eclipse, a full moon is usually a month cycle, but an eclipse is usually a 6-month cycle. Mm-hmm. So, and this is the beginning. This is the first of these eclipses in the signs of Taurus, Scorpio.
Right.
So this Taurus Scorpio axis is now highlighted by the eclipses and will be for the coming year and a half. So wherever Taurus is in your house, you know, especially if it's your rising or your midheaven, or, you know, if you've got a placement in there like your moon or your sun or anything like that, then that's going to be a bigger impact on you. And same with Scorpio. So people that are Scorpions and Scorpios and people that are Taurians are going to have some heavy impact over the next year and a half. Could be positive, could be negative, but it's going to be big. It's going to be big, big.
I have the moon and Chiron in Taurus in my second house.
Oh, wow. You're going to have some money changes going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
The changes all happening right now. I mean, we've got Uranus in Taurus.
Right.
So
heal my money wound.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that with Uranus in Taurus, if anybody who has Taurus as a first house or a sun sign or a moon sign is going to be feeling something. I'm sure of it as this year and a half builds up. Now Scorpio is my second house, and it's looking fairly auspicious for me because, again, as you pointed out, the Taurian and the Scorpio aspect can be positive for money. It can be a change in money. So if things are going great for you money-wise, well, maybe no. But it could be a change to the even better. So
even better.
Yeah, change doesn't imply positive or negative.
Right.
Now, this was a particularly long eclipse that we had this morning.
That's what I heard, like 600, 800 years.
Yeah. So, you know, normally they're a flash. I mean, we watched the big eclipse that went by a few years ago in 2017. So that only took like 10 or 15 minutes and the whole thing's over. This was like 3 hours or something.
Yeah.
Beginning to end. So it was, and it did impact North America. So it was something that is they say where the shadow passes, it may have an impact on the people below. So this is one that may be a prelude to the Pluto return for the United States. So, but it's pretty powerful. Shall we take a look at the chart?
Yes.
Let me see if I can share my screen. And I can. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You need to scroll up though.
What?
Scroll up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was a partial eclipse. I'm calling it the long dark night because just for fun. Well, plus it's on Algol.
Tell us about Algol.
Algol. The name ghoul comes from Algol.
Oh.
It is represented as a pile of dead bodies.
Oh.
Oh. Mob violence.
Oh.
It's a really unpleasant, dark thing.
And it's a fixed star.
It's a fixed star. It's a fixed star, and the moon is exactly upon it. Well, maybe not exactly. They're both at 27 degrees. They may not be at the minute.
Yeah, sure.
But they're both at 27 degrees. The moon moves fast. Doesn't mean it's going to last long. But I'd be, I mean, this is it's an ugly it's an ugly little configuration. Let's put it that way.
It sets the tone.
Yeah. Now, interestingly, I mean, if you look at where Algol sits in some people's charts, you can get a feel for it. So, for example, Johnny Depp has Mercury conjunct Algol. So think about Yeah, Johnny Depp has kind of that darkness to his personality when he comes out. He can be all these different characters, but most of them are kind of dark, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And he's communicating? He's communicating Algol. I mean, his communication, his Mercury is conjunct the Algol. So I think that that's kind of interesting to look at that. And there's some other people that you can look at their charts and see where the Algol is in there to kind of get a feel for how it impacts it. You know, it's not always something so direct as a pile of dead bodies, but that's how it was pictured by people in the ancient past.
Creepy.
Yeah, but we got a bunch of other stuff going on here too. As you pointed out, we've got some pretty trines. You want to talk about our trines a little bit?
Let's see. Mercury trine Neptune. I didn't write down the Mercury 21 Scorpio hunters shooting wild ducks. Trine Neptune 20 Pisces, the little white lamb child and servant.
Ooh,
So
like
I would think that that is like there's a harmony in communication and dreaming that might possibly have to do with nourishment and sustenance. That's how I read it.
nice. And an ease between, you know, communications of Mercury and the dreaminess or the imagination of Neptune.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah, very nice. In Scorpio, you know, the communication may be about transformation.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting configuration. I didn't put that on here, but that's a great one to mention. I should have. That would have been another blue line. We like the blue lines.
Yeah.
We like those blue lines. So the other trines, and are there any others besides the Mercury trine Neptune?
Yes. Venus is trine Uranus,
Right.
and it's an exact trine. So Venus is at 12 Capricorn, and she just entered her pre-shadow phase. A fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence.
Ooh, read that again.
A fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence. That's Venus.
Deep.
Yeah. And she is trine Uranus, a porter carrying heavy baggage.
Interesting.
So all of our Venus and Capricorn things. Contemplating the heavy baggage we carry.
Yeah, I mean, with Venus and Capricorn, that feels like, you know, maybe I've got a really beautiful suitcase, but it's quite heavy. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Capricorn is the structure and the government, and it's also the way we, you know, aspire to things and climb that mountain, the goat climbing the mountain.
Yeah.
With
They're
Venus,
both earth signs.
they're both earth
Venus
signs.
and Uranus trining each other in earth signs. So it might be a good time to like really be grounded and potentially like clear out some of the baggage. Because part of being a fire worshiper, at least in my understanding as a double fire sign, is, and a metalsmith, is the cleansing nature of fire. And when you burn things and you burn them to ash and you give the ash back to the ground. So if we were going to use this trine at this eclipse for our benefit, I would think that like clearing away the baggage.
Yeah, I like that. Now that implies a deliberate change, but it also, a trine is an ease. Maybe it's an openness to the change, because often you know, Uranus speaks to a sudden change or an unexpected change. Venus speaks to something beautiful. And I really like the idea of getting rid of baggage, of something that somehow easily we can let go of, something that, was a heavy weight, a Capricornian sort of thing that we couldn't let go of in the past.
Right. I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
It's a great way to use this time.
Exactly.
Or use the next 6 months.
The next 6 months. Yeah. Let it go.
Because in order to you got to make room for the change, right? If it's Uranus and you can't necessarily control the change, you can at least make room for whatever new thing is coming.
Right. And if we don't let go of baggage, as you say, we can't open up to new possibilities.
Right. Or at least it's hard to.
To me, this feels like, is with the other configurations in this chart, maybe a need to let go of past senses of harm or negativity so that we can move towards a more positive future.
Yeah.
Because we do have that Algol there, and we've got a crazy square between Jupiter and the sun and moon.
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, it's so right in your face.
It's
Now,
so
it's not
right
an
in my
exact
face.
square. I mean, it's 3 degrees, but that's the orb that's, considered,
Right.
we,
Somehow I saw the Mercury Jupiter square, but I didn't see the sun.
the sun hides over there sometimes. We're looking at the full moon and the sun is not visible when we see that moon so bright.
It's true. It's like, oh, the moon.
And there's a sun that's flashing its light on that.
So, who cares about the sun?
On some level, I see this as an opportunity to do some shadow work.
It's absolutely an opportunity to do shadow work. Every eclipse is, right?
Exactly, because we're illuminating those things that maybe we haven't been taking a look at before that we can now.
Yeah.
So there's another trine in here as well. We've got, as you pointed out, Mercury trine Uranus, or sorry, Neptune, and Venus trine Uranus, and we also have Pluto trine the moon.
Oh.
So, I mean, there should be another blue line in here. And then we'd see it's 3 little blue lines and 3 big red lines. But there is a lot of balance in this chart between the positivity or the ease.
Yeah.
Ease to do something, and the warning or the illumination of maybe something getting too big or too out of hand.
Maybe.
When it's in square with the sun, Jupiter is a benefic, Jupiter is a positive, but it also is an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So the sun is illuminating an expansion in Aquarius, the sign of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the moon is showing reflecting an emotional discordance, which shows that maybe people are going to get too emotional about something.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe like shadows come into the surface, like your shadows are really going to show up.
Uh-huh. So although there is some really nice positive stuff, I think that the positives are ameliorating this pretty big configuration of, whoa, be careful, settle down, chill out, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Something there, but there's some other, let's get into some of the Sabian symbols too, because there's some deeper meanings here I was looking at that I'd love for you to get at with the Sabian symbols. The couple little things I brought out, the red is the square, which shows the difficult aspects between the moon and sun and Jupiter. Here, watch out for exaggeration or things getting too big or out of hand. And here with the trines, I have those in blue as a positive. A beautiful change comes easily. An emotional transformation is illuminated.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of got a nice or an interesting mix of hot, cold.
Yeah.
Of fixed cardinal So it's interesting to see how we're going to move forward here. The trine is taking advantage of opportunities. The opposition might be, you know, a tug of war that we have to take a look at. So again, a kind of a weird mixed bag. I've got this as the moon conjunct or opposite the sun, and that's the full moon, trine Pluto and square Jupiter. So that's another way of writing what we're doing here, what we're looking at in the sky, and what is going on right now. So what I came up with, my general interpretation was change comes easy, but may leave a lasting scar for the Algol. How can unhealthy desires be curtailed? Because there's a lot of Venus in this, you know, the Venus and the desire for whatever, maybe greed would be a way of looking at too much desire.
Yeah.
So how might we curtail unhealthy desires or things that get too out of control? And as we talked about, 1 month from today, November 19th, 2021, and through the new moon in Taurus, which is April 30th, and then all the way through 6 months, in fact.
Yeah.
So the moon is our emotions. It's reflective, it's receptive, it's yin, negative, passive, and female. And in Taurus talks to pleasure and rewards. It's slow and plodding, but once you get that bull going, it'll pull, it'll keep on going. Then it's hard to stop. It's got a head of steam. So this is where I, you know, interpreted an emotional completion of desires. The full moon is a completion. It's emotional. It has all to do with our desires in Taurus.
And if you remember, the theme for the entire year from the Aries new moon last spring was the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, sweet. That's interesting. Take a look at, will you go through the symbols? I wrote down 27 Scorpio and 28 Taurus.
Yes.
We're moving into 28.
Yeah, moving into 28. And the Sabian symbol, that weird thing where you're supposed to read the next degree, or you can read the one of the actual degree because that man wrote down the wrong numbers.
That's why I've just picked these two, but there are
like pick which two speak to you. And so this time we have decided to do 28 Taurus for the full moon. A woman pursued by mature love. And different authors write that differently. So some other people have written it as a mature woman reawakened to romance. So that's the moon, 20, 28, 27 Taurus. I wrote down 28 Scorpio instead of 27. And that is the king of the fairies approaching his domain.
That's nice. That's the next one. That's interesting.
Yeah. So when I like skip ahead one, I'll skip ahead one on all of the symbols so that we're still in the same relationship.
The military band one struck me because of what's going on politically in the United States and Algol.
Yeah, it does seem more applicable than the king of the fairies.
Yeah, this one just hit me as like, well, we've got some people out there still saying a big lie loudly. It's louder than they've ever said it before. They're saying the big lie.
Right.
And this is getting people out there marching the band, the big lie, marching through the cities, shouting the big lie. So with Algol there and this big square with the moon as an eclipse, conjunct Jupiter, I feel something building that I don't like.
Yeah.
So, but there is another interpretation here, and that, you know, the woman pursued by mature love, that that reflects another, you know, another way of looking at it. We're not all out in the street marching noisily. There's other interpretations for this in people's lives.
Yeah, there are other ways to spend your life.
That's right. There's lots of different, depending on where you are, there's a meaning here in these configurations of these stars, but it may
Right.
not be that meaning for you.
Right. What do you think it means what mature love is?
The not innocence, that's not the right word. No longer having the immature imaginary, and maybe that's where the Neptune comes in, where we imagine the lover to be something other than they are.
Oh
True
yeah.
love is when you recognize, oh, I love this person or this thing, even though it's broken or not perfect in some way.
Yeah.
I love that vase, but it's cracked. I still love that cracked vase.
Right.
I love this human, but they've got some rough edges, but I still love this human.
Right. To not project your idea of who the other person is onto that person, but to accept them for the totality of who they are. That's mature love.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
how I
that's
would
a
say it.
really good definition. My friend Laura would say this phrase, she would say, all of you is welcome here.
Yeah. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's total acceptance. That's unconditional love. When we recognize that people are people and not perfect, we can
Right.
love them unconditionally because whatever, it is who they are, and we still love them. But this emotional reflection is a bigger reflection than a normal full moon because of the eclipse. So this woman pursued by mature love, that feels pretty much like an emotional culmination for somebody. Like maybe, I don't know, I think of Tucson Under the Sun. There was a movie about a woman who moved to Tuscany.
Yeah. Under the
Tuscany.
Tuscan sun.
Under the Tuscan sun, moved to Tuscany and found love while fixing up a house or something like that. Not a young woman, an older woman.
Right.
So that one can find one's desires or beauty in one's life, a love or a fulfillment of desire at any time in life, as one is, and especially maybe as one is mature.
Yeah, especially as maybe one is mature.
Mhm. So that is, it's ultimately positive, as the other one is feeling ultimately negative.
Maybe they're marching because they won something and they're celebrating.
I'm not seeing that in my society. That's not what I'm hearing in the news, and that's not what I
Well,
see. So I don't
yeah.
know.
And if a military band won something, then that means that somebody else lost. So
Yeah. But there's another, I mean, if we're going political with the military band, we could go political with the woman pursued by mature love. A bill was just signed that's going to add a whole lot of jobs and money to a whole lot of, and bridges. I mean, we're going to beautify things,
yeah.
right? I imagine I went to Atlanta before the Olympics, and it was not pretty downtown. I went to Atlanta after the Olympics, and they beautified their downtown. Now that comes with some negativity too. There might have been a marching band going through there and getting rid of homeless people before it was all pretty. But
well, and not just homeless people, kicking people out of their houses and tearing down people's houses.
Right. But it was pretty. The streets were all, redone, and flower pots were filled with flowers, and it was a place where anybody would, places to sit, and it was trees growing. It was lovely. So I could imagine mature love being something where you beautify something.
Mm.
I'm stretching there.
Yeah.
What else do you get out of this? What else do you get out of this?
Beautiful plants.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to pull out the positive before we get down into Algol a little bit more.
Okay, is there anything else positive? There's some sextiles.
There are some nice sextiles. We'll
Want
look
to
at
talk
some of
about
the
sextiles before you
Yeah,
get to the squares?
yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
Okay. Mars is sextiling Venus. That's nice.
That
That's
is
always
nice.
nice. Mars at 13, Scorpio, telephone lineman installing new connections.
Ooh, I like that.
And Venus at 12, Capricorn, a fire worshiper meditates on the ultimate realities of existence. So you got the masculine and the feminine contemplating the meaning of life and making new connections.
That sounds like mature love.
That does sound like mature love.
I like the making new connections. There is that configuration with Mercury in Scorpio. You know, Mercury is the god that can go above and below.
That's right. I
It's-
forget about
it's-
that a lot.
The genderless god, the god
Yeah.
that can be anything. It's the trickster. And in Scorpio, you know, it's digging deep, it's unearthing things. And again, mature love is when you don't have blinders on, when you don't have rose-colored glasses, you're seeing things as they really are.
Yeah.
Mercury allows us to speak truth,
Yeah.
real deep truth.
And
And-
Scorpio.
Right.
Nice.
And that in a positive configuration could really allow positive transformation, both personally and collectively. It could be a change in what was that? In change in communication? What was the Sabian symbol?
Installing new connections.
It could be installing new connections.
Mhm.
You know, like when the wires get crossed and everything's blurry, I'm thinking of old telephone lines and not
Right.
newfangled energy
Right.
waves. But energy waves get crossed too, things interfere,
True.
they get blur, and clearing those lines might be a really lovely thing between the communication of Mercury in Scorpio and the Neptunian imagination and loveliness that can bring.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really pretty. That can be lovely.
Mhm.
That could be a good configuration for writing. People that are writers, this might be a very good time to get your words on paper.
That's a good point.
You can dig deep and your imagination is working well with your communication.
Right. And you've got Venus and Capricorn with Pluto. So you've got that extra depth.
And maybe a good twist, a way to turn a phrase because of Venus and the beauty there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, so
Pluto and the transformation.
yeah, so looking forward to or being willing to make changes and using this for creative pursuits, not just writing, but any communication, you know, singing or artwork or, you know, anything where one is communicating their inner imagination in the, you know, in the outer world through whatever medium, I would think would be really highlighted here. Metalsmithing. Good time to metalsmith,
Right.
right?
And a
Are you
good
making-
time for the next 6 months.
Yeah. Are you making anything new or cool?
Well, I started some hairpins, hair forks, and I started some earrings. And that's what I got going on right now.
Nice. Well, see, that seems like a lovely way to use this particular energy.
Yeah.
It really does.
I did set my torches up again for the first time in like a year and a half. And it's pretty exciting
That
to
is
have fire again.
Yeah, welcoming the change.
Being a fire worshiper.
What?
Being a fire worshiper.
Just be careful with the fire.
Of course.
So the Algol again, going down the head of the demon, you know, that's pretty ugly. The severed head of Medusa, a ghoul, mob violence. I mean, there's some pretty negative things. This is a negative fixed star. There's nothing positive I read about this thing. I'm not going to try and pull any fuzzy rabbit out of this thing. And this is conjunct the moon. So there's an emotional darkness here. Coming back to the woman pursued by mature love, a culmination or a completion of a desired change is exposed and ends badly.
Oh.
You know, it doesn't have to be a bunch of bodies. It could be, you know, somebody had an affair and it's exposed. And now they get divorced. Or, I mean, you know, I'm sorry. I mean, it ends badly because of
Is that
Algol.
bad? Is that
It doesn't
always
have to be the
bad?
death of people. It could be the death of a relationship,
Yeah.
right? The symbolism doesn't have to be a pile of bodies. It could be the ending, maybe a gruesome ending of something that, you know, like I
But
said,
that again can be a clearing out.
it's a clearing out, but we just
You
didn't
know,
really want
just
it to
because
go
things
that way.
end and just because things end badly doesn't mean that that's actually the end and that it's a bad thing, right? It just means that it's a new start, a new thing can come. This
Well,
is my like
At
perennial.
least Mars isn't. At least Mars is not involved.
Yeah. At least Mars is not involved.
Right. And again, you know,
What Mars is doing is making new connections with Venus.
right, right. And you know, but Jupiter is involved.
Yes.
So there's a biggerness. If you think about Jupiter plus Algol, you know, there's a bigness to this negativity that's being exposed.
Mm.
And you know, that could be a, you know, it is a time when things are being exposed.
It's true.
And we may discover here on a social level or a personal level that it was a lot bigger, deeper, and darker than we thought.
Well, and there, maybe it's just me, but there seems to be so many people who just don't want to see it. They don't want to see the big ugly thing. And it's not like I can't be that way. Like I tend towards positivity. I try to find the good in things, but I also am well aware of the heinousness that I feel like a lot of people want to pretend like it's not there. It's not an issue.
We've used that analogy a bunch of times about the scab coming off.
Yes.
So that the pus can come out and the wound can heal. And I kind of expected, you know, healing to happen more quickly. But I wonder if Algol doesn't represent that there's still pus and it's still oozing because there's something in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it has to be removed before the healing can occur.
Yeah.
It has to be, there has to be a culmination. There has to be an exposure, which is what the illumination of the sun is doing. It's exposing in a pretty big way something that needs to be exposed. I mean, if you don't get that thing out of there, you can't heal that wound. So that, you know, is kind of a different, but also symbolically accurate way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Maybe something just needs to be exposed. We need to acknowledge it's there so we can get rid of it.
Yeah. Might that have to do with Uranus and the heavy bags?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Somebody better open the bags and let's see what's inside.
Right. Right.
Ooh, could be weird. All right, I'm gonna scoot down to the positive. So we got the Pluto trine the moon and the sun. With sextile the sun, trine the moon.
Okay.
That's pretty nice.
Pluto sextile sun, trine moon.
Yeah.
That's just more shadow digging up stuff.
Yeah.
That's just like extra eclipse shadowness.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, you gotta love your shadow or life is extra hard.
Well, and I wonder if there is an emotional illumination that can lead to a transformation for those who may have been feeling stuck. Because the you know, Jupiter's in the fixed sign of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
Aquarius represents the people. The people are kind of stuck. You know, I mean, it represents a fixed sign. It's not easy to make a transformation. Fixed signs don't change easily.
Right. You want to hear Jupiter's degree?
Well, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Jupiter at 24 Aquarius, a butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed.
Right.
Yes.
Ooh,
So it is transformation.
Yeah, read it one more
Butterfly
time.
A butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed.
It's an interesting.
Imperfection, slight imbalance, not perfect symmetry. I mean, this is mature love too. That
Right.
like you can have two sides of the thing of something and they're not the same, and that's okay.
Yeah, again, it's that unconditional love, loving in spite of faults or deformities
Or because of.
or because of. Yeah, I've always loved you because of that little scar right here.
Right? I love that little scar.
So leaving the scar might be a reminder of something that actually, like when you are having a great day and you fall and hurt yourself and you get a little scar, but it's actually a reminder of the great day.
Yeah, there's
That
that.
last little fall at the end,
Yeah.
And the trine with Venus and Uranus, that's something that's reflecting an opportunity for a beautiful change.
Yeah.
So there is, it seems to me, with the trines, there's a lot of opportunity being presented
Right.
for some transformation. Everything's speaking to the transformation.
Really is. And then you've got Jupiter as a butterfly. And I don't know, like the only more transformative symbol in nature is a snake, besides a butterfly. And snakes are more like shedding transformation. Butterflies are more like total annihilation and reforming into something even more amazing.
Right.
Snakes get bigger.
Right. Yeah. Shedding skin.
Butterflies totally turn into something else.
Well, and shedding skin is an interesting way of losing baggage.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, the visual there of being able to just like, sloughing this off and moving on.
Oh, right.
Uh-huh. I sort of wonder if it speaks to a need to aim again to the future and towards a positive rather than, hanging back in the muck to hash it over a bunch.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're out of that. Just move forward. Don't hang out here by the edge of the mud pond.
Which is also a mature love thing. So
Yeah.
not hold grudges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to not bring up those past things, just like dig it in. Just
Right.
like, we have totally moved past this thing. I mean, I've been with my partner for more than 20 years. Like, you can't just bring up stuff from like 15 years ago.
Right. Right. We are done. That is the past. We are here now.
Why are you bringing this up?
Yeah. So but there may be overall here some illumination with things that are scorpionic in nature, things that are Taurian in nature, coming to our attention, being spotlighted in some way, and then a transformation being possible because it's been, because of that illumination.
Right.
So we're seeing the Uranus square Saturn there, which I'm leaving up because dun dun dun. This is our third one, right?
Yeah. Okay.
February 17 was the first one. June 14th was the second one. This is the third one. The fourth and last one is next fall of 22. So there is in fact a fourth one.
Okay.
In about 10 months. As a matter of fact,
Oh, as in like election season?
I think it's on the day of the election.
Is it on the day of the election? Okay. Yay.
Oh my God. I'll look it up really quick. What are the Sabian symbols again? You want to go over the Sabian symbols for this? Where
For
we at
Saturn
now?
and
Yeah, where's Saturn and Uranus right now?
Saturn right now is at 8 Aquarius, a flag seen turning into an eagle.
Oh.
So more transformation.
Read it one more time.
A flag seen turning into an eagle.
That sounds so scorpionic because the scorpion's symbols, Scorpio has 3 symbols. The Scorpio one, which is the lowest one, the scorpion, if you're if you're a Scorpio and you're coming from the, your lower mind, let's put it that way, you might
Yeah.
be reaching out with that stinger a lot. Stinging
Yeah.
people, you might be very reactive. But
Yeah.
there's another way of looking at Scorpio, and that's the eagle.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. I'm looking it up real quick.
Okay.
And I think the last one is the Phoenix.
Oh. So it goes from a scorpion to an eagle to a phoenix?
I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah. The Scorpion, the Eagle, and the Phoenix are all the representative signs. They all represent beginnings and endings. They're all, death and transformation, rebirth.
Yeah.
The Phoenix, they represent lower and higher, I'm going to use the term chakras, lower and higher vibrations
Right.
of the same transformational thing. Again, the Scorpion is the lowest vibration, where someone who's a scorpionic might be very reactive.
Yeah.
The eagle, one is looking down at things from up above, is detached.
Okay.
Remove themselves from that reactivity. They're no longer stinging with the scorpion tail. They're flying above it all.
Okay.
And the Phoenix
Yeah.
rising from the ashes, complete rebirth.
Yeah.
So Scorpio is a, Scorpio people may reflect any one or all three of those motifs,
Right.
I would say.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And Taurus is opposite Scorpio. Anything you have in your scorpionic house,
Yeah.
in your house of Scorpio, is being impacted by Uranus in Taurus.
Oh, I think I have Uranus in Scorpio.
Yeah, you're reflecting the change. Right?
I like change though.
You've got change opposite change.
I got change,
Change is pulling at your change.
which is good. I like it. I like
Yeah.
change. I like my numerology is a 10, like my tarot card is the wheel. So
We're gonna keep on rolling.
if I don't have change, I get uncomfortable.
I'm trying to look up the date for the square in 2022. Not finding it.
It's probably election day.
I have a feeling it's election day.
And it doesn't bode well that we've got that
Mob.
big star.
I'm worried about the mob.
I know. Okay, so we have a flag turning into an eagle, a square, a porter carrying heavy baggage.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So again, we want to lose that baggage.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it really easily here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's October, but I didn't pull up the exact
Oh,
date.
well, if it's October, then it's not election day.
Yeah, but it lasts for a long time.
Well, that's true.
These are very slow moving. It says October 24th.
Oh, okay. So it'll probably be like at the exact minutes.
They're going to
where
square
the polls
all of
open.
Yeah, they're going to
Everything is about US electoral politics. That's all the stars care about. There's nothing else going on in the world.
No.
US electoral politics.
Well, we do have an impact on the whole world, for good or ill.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it looks like the peak of this thing is October of next year.
Okay.
But it is square all year. And so anyway, this is something we've been dealing with. This is the defining aspect of 2021, is the Uranus square Saturn. It's a big deal aspect because it's so rare and involves this powerful change and this powerful no change. In a square where one is saying we're going to change now and the other is saying no way, we're not.
No way.
Yeah. So are we changing? What's changing? It does feel like we've been rolling around in a lot of ways in the same old muck, whether again it's personal or it's out
Political.
there in the world, political, and it does impact other countries because look at, this Saturn square Uranus, look at Belarus. I mean,
I don't know what's going on in Belarus. I'm sure it's not good.
there's a lot of migrant people,
Uh-huh.
that want to get in, that can't get in. They've made it,
Yeah.
they've moved, but then the door's locked and they can't get in to actually get to Europe. They've been stranded. And so,
Well, and have you like heard what's going on in Canada?
what?
In British Columbia, the native people are trying to kick out the oil pipeline or gas pipeline people. And so they evicted them a couple days ago. They like put an eviction notice. They said they were going to evict them more than a year ago. And they were finally like, we're tearing the roads out. They tore the roads out and blocked the roads. And they warned the gas company that they were going to do this. And they took over gas company equipment. And the gas company didn't bother to tell their workers that this was going to be happening. So now a bunch of gas company workers are trapped and up in the mountains in British Columbia because the native people are trying to protect the headwaters of the rivers because the gas company is trying to dig under the river.
Saturn square Uranus, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
Uranus wants to change and Saturn says no. And who's going to win here? I mean, that's why, when you look at this stuff up astrologically in the, ancient texts, that configuration in Taurus says we're going to have an earthquake because Uranus says you're going to move and it's the earth. And Saturn says we're not going to move. So what happens?
And then the earth has moved. There have been massive landslides because they had fires up in British Columbia 5 months ago. And now they're having tons of rain. And so there have been these huge landslides that have knocked out a bunch of the roads. And like the port, I think I heard the port in Vancouver is cut off from the rest of Canada from natural disaster.
Yeah. Well, one thing to keep in mind that I'm keeping in mind is these aspects don't last forever.
Right.
This is a long-term aspect. I mean, it lasting all the way through 2021 and all the way through 2022. And we've got a big change coming, with Pluto as the US Pluto return comes in 2022, which I think is May. But, these things will move on from there. We will move on from this. We just have to figure out what's the best way of transforming without leaving a scar, because
or you say, I love that scar.
Or we say,
it reminds me of how I transformed.
Yeah.
And I made it through the pain of transformation.
Yeah.
And even though one of my wings is less perfectly formed.
So I can still fly.
You can still fly.
I can still fly.
I have seen some raggedy butterflies in my time.
That's right. And they're still beautiful.
They're still beautiful and they still get around.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to unshare it for a second here.
Okay.
So interesting full moon, interesting eclipse.
Yeah.
Full of possibilities. And a cautious word, perhaps, of be careful how and where you change. Try and be slow and cautious. And if the change happens, be on your feet.
Yeah. Make friends with your shadow.
Yeah.
It's always good advice.
Always good advice to be aware.
There is Saturn is sextiling Chiron too. So there's always that healing element in there.
That's right. Right. The structure is there for us to have some comfort, as some healing comfort as we go through some of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility.
Yeah.
Lots of possible changes going on.
So many options.
And again, for those who love change, well, this is an exciting time.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
For those who don't love change, I feel for you.
Yeah, hang on to your hat and put on your
grounding exercises.
Right. Right.
Stay connected to the earth. Got Taurus, good Taurus, Capricorn, with Venus and the moon and Taurus and Capricorn, like you can dig in
Exactly.
to the earth and stay grounded amidst all of the change.
Deep breaths, do pot some plants or something.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing to do with this energy as well. That would be change and transformation in a positive way, where you can actually mix in a little manure, get the Algol from there. Get the Pluto from there, mix it in and let it grow some beautiful flowers for you in the
There you
future.
go. That's beautiful.
Well, should we end on this positive up note?
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you all for joining us, and as we walk through this interesting moon, and we'll see you on the new moon eclipse, December 4th. Exciting seasons. Bye, Kat.
Bye, Micki.